Bowles, Boquist, Burdick, Dembro, Fagan, Finley, Frederick, Gelser, Gerard, Golden, Hansel, Hass, Hurd, Johnson, Knope, Lithicum, Manning, Monis Anderson, Brozanski, Riley, Roblin, Steiner Hayward, Taylor, Thatcher, Thompson, Wagner, President Courtney?
He's here. Honor the colors. Senator James Manning Jr. will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The invocation. Senator Laurie Monis Anderson.
Finally, this isn't a true prayer, so you don't need to bow your heads. Finally, we are in the last month of the infamous 2020. Most of us are ready for this year to end. No year is more deserving of a goodbye than 2020. We still can't say goodbye to the loss of jobs, the high unemployment, failing businesses. We can't say goodbye to the devastating fires and loss of homes and livelihood because we have to prepare for the next summer. We can't say goodbye to the pandemic, and for sure, we want to say goodbye to the violent, destructive protests, not the peaceful protests. But the only thing we can say goodbye to is a very divisive 2020 election. Today, we take steps to better the lives of Oregonians, like we did in the past 2 special sessions. This chamber and most Oregonians should be proud of what the legislature has done so far when faced with this crisis. Nothing's perfect. We are a strong, courageous, and resilient group of people. We're living with masking up, courageous. We're living with isolation, separation from families and loved ones, coordination of family schedules, empty grocery shelves, school closures, online meetings, countless briefings on COVID, fires, schools, and of course our special sessions. It is time to say goodbye to 2020. And for Senator Bowles, Senator Barrett Sugar, Senator Fagan, Senator Hass, Senator Roblin, and myself, it is time for us to say goodbye to the legislature when the newly elected senators are sworn in January 11th. I thank each and every one of you for the part that you've played in my journey down this legislative path. My wish for everyone here is that you all continue to better Oregon and your community, to feel fulfilled in all that you do, and to have nothing but good for the state of Oregon and your communities. While that may be an overly optimistic wish, for some of you, it is sincere. So, hello, third special session, and goodbye, 2020.
Thank you, Senator James Manning, Jr., for leading the Pledge of Allegiance, and thank you, Senator Lori Monis-Anderson, for your timely words. The clerk will read the proclamation.
State of Oregon Proclamation, Office of the Governor. Whereas Oregon is responding to the public health emergency posed by the novel infectious coronavirus COVID-19, which, as of today, has resulted in at least 95,010 cases and 1,161 deaths statewide. And whereas recovery efforts continue from a series of catastrophic wildfires that erupted across significant portions of Oregon earlier this year, and whereas there is an urgent need for Oregon's Legislative Assembly to enact legislation before the end of the year that provides protections and economic relief for Oregonians affected by the COVID-19 and wildfire recovery emergencies. Now, therefore, I, Kate Brown, Governor of the State of Oregon, pursuant to Article 5, Section 12 of the Oregon Constitution, find an extraordinary occasion exists, and do by this proclamation call the 80th Oregon Legislative Assembly to convene in special session on December 21st, 2020 at 8 a.m. Although the Constitution does not allow me to limit the length of the special session or the issues considered, I ask that the members of the Assembly act expeditiously in enacting legislation regarding the matters referenced above. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the great seal of the State of Oregon to be affixed. Done at the Capitol, in the city of Salem, in the state of Oregon, on this day, December 15th, 2020. Kate Brown, Governor.
Our special session rules include some revisions allowing for audible voting from the side aisles and the gallery. As a reminder, please do not use a thumbs up or thumbs down signal when voting. Audible votes are required. Thank you, my colleagues. Recognize Senator Rob Wagner.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the third special session Senate rules, which have been electronically distributed, be adopted as the Senate rules for the third special session of the 80th Legislative Assembly.
Senator Rob Wagner has moved that the third special session Senate rules, which have been electronically distributed, be adopted as the Senate rules for the third special session of the 80th Legislative Assembly. To your motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. The rules we are voting on now are substantially similar to the rules for previous 2020 sessions, with the addition of the two items you previously mentioned, which allow for the voting from the side aisles, the gallery, and that senators need to cast their votes with an audible aye or nay. Thank you, Mr. President.
We're now under discussion. Recognize Senator Fred Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise in opposition to these rules. If I look in the galleries, what's missing? The people. I hate to tell everybody on the Senate floor, this isn't our Senate. This is the people's Senate. This is the people's building. People have given their lives for our freedoms. Our freedoms can be defined by those that wrote our Constitution in three little words. Those words are, we the people. It doesn't say, I the king, I the queen, I the governor, or we the Senate. It says, we the people. Now, why are the people so essential to a democracy? Because they are the oversight. They're the ones that watch and make sure of the transparency of government, that we come up with good laws, that the press is recording it somewhat accurately. It is essential to good government, to any form of democracy, to have an open building and an open process. I urge a no vote.
I see no others in the queue. Therefore, the question is, on the adoption of the third special session rules. All those in favor, would you please say aye as their names are called? All those opposed, no. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Barrett Sugar. No. Byer. Yes. Bowles. No. Boquist. Boquist. Burdick. Burdick. Dembro. Aye. Fagan. Yes. Finley. No. Frederick. Yes. Gelser. Yes. Gerard. No. Golden. Hansel. Hansel. Hass. Yes. Hurd. No. Johnson. Johnson. Knope. No. Lithicum. Lithicum. Manning. Aye. Monis Anderson. Aye. Olson. Rozanski. Aye. Riley. Aye. Roblin. Aye. Steiner Hayward. Aye. Taylor. Aye. Thatcher. Thompson. Thompson. Wagner. Aye. President Courtney.
Yes.
Excused: Boquist, Burdick, Hansel, Johnson, Lithicum, Olson, and Thompson. Voting no: Barrett Sugar, Bowles, Finley, Gerard, Hurd, Knope, and Thatcher. 16 aye votes.
The motion has carried. The Secretary of the Senate is directed to notify the Governor and the House of Representatives that the Senate has completed its organization and is ready for the business of the third special session of the 80th Legislative Assembly. I have made the following special committee assignments. The Joint Committee on the third special session of 2020. Senator Peter Courtney, co-chair, Senator Fred Gerard, co-vice chair, Senator Burdick, Senator James Manning Jr., and Senator Kim Thatcher. I have concluded that adjournment sine die of the 2020 third special session imminent. Therefore, effective immediately, I'm invoking a 1-hour notice in accordance with Senate Rules 8.16. The committee chair may call a meeting of the committee with less than 24 hours notice if at least 1 hour prior to the meeting notice is given to the Secretary of the Senate office posted outside the Senate chamber and any other place reasonably designed to give notice to the public and interested persons. Courtesies of the Senate, remonstrances, Senator Dallas Hurd.
This is yet another illegitimate session where you, the Democratic majority, have declared the people unfit to participate in person in their own Capitol building. Let the record reflect that I am in fierce opposition to any legislation that this illegitimate assembly may pass today. You will be held accountable for this in the coming years. You have joined Kate Brown in her campaign of intimidation against the people and the children of God. 1 Samuel 2:10 says, "The adversaries of the Lord shall be broken to pieces. From heaven he will thunder against them. The Lord will judge the ends of the earth. He will give strength to his king and exalt the horn of his anointed. The anointed King of kings is Jesus Christ, and this is his kingdom, not ours. The days of your unchecked assault against our freedoms and his children is over. You've oppressed the free peoples of Oregon. You have said to me through my caucus leader that we are being forced to wear these masks today, and that your false authority will be enforced against any of us who don't submit to you. If you had not done such great evil to my people and had simply asked me to wear this mask, I would have. But you commanded it, and therefore I declare my right to protest against your false authority and remove my mask. I will stand here for 30 seconds while you decide whether you are fascists willing to use the government to force and override my rights, or to prove that you are nothing more than bullies and false authorities?
Remonstrances are
My
now
time is
complete.
not done, Mr.
Messages
President.
from the House.
My time is not done, Mr.
Messages
President.
from the House.
My time is not done, Mr.
Proceed,
President.
please.
My
Proceed.
time is not done, Mr. President.
Yes, your time is up.
No, it was not.
Yes, it is up.
Well,
I'm not
you
going to
show
argue
what
with
you
Senator.
are.
Turn off his
You make
microphone.
it up as...
Messages from the House, please. You have no messages. Reports from committees, motions, propositions. Recognize Senator Rob Wagner. Recognize Senator Rob Wagner. Recognize Senator Rob Wagner.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that in compliance with Article 4, Section 19 of the Oregon Constitution, and notwithstanding any provision of the Senate Third Special Session rules for the 80th Legislative Assembly, that the duration of this 2020 Third Special Session, the requirement that on its final passage each bill shall be read section by section, be suspended.
Senator Wagner has moved that the compliance with Article 4, Section 19 of the Oregon Constitution, and notwithstanding any provisions of the Senate Third Special Session rules for the 80th Legislative Assembly, that for the duration of this 2020 Third Special Session, requirement that on its final passage each bill shall be read section by section be suspended. Please explain your motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Passing this motion will allow the Senate to work more efficiently and will reduce the amount of time we are in contact with each other.
Senator Gerard, you have comments on this? The question before the Senate is on the suspension of the constitutional provisions. All those in favor answer aye, please. Your names are called. All those opposed, no. Clerk, please call the roll.
Bergsugar. Bergsugar. Byer. Bowles. Boquist. Burdick. Dembro. Fagan. Finley. Frederick. Gelser. Gelser. Gerard. Golden. Hansel. Hass. Hurd. Hurd. Johnson. Knope. Lithicum. Manning. Monis Anderson. Olson. Prozanski. Riley. Roblin. Steiner Hayward. Taylor. Thatcher. Thompson. Wagner. President Courtney.
Yes.
Excused. Gelser. Gelser.
Proceed. Let's move on. Why are you waiting?
Gelser. Excused. Bertschiger. Boquist. Hansel. Hurd. Johnson. Lithicum. Olson. And Thompson. Voting no. Bowles and Thatcher. 20 aye votes.
This motion has carried. Action on executive appointments requiring Senate confirmation. In accordance with the Senate Interim Rule 209.40, consideration of appointments and reappointments that did not receive final action by the Interim Rules and Executive Appointments Committee will remain in committee at the end of the interim. This action will be recorded in the Journal. It is now so ordered. Introduction and the first reading of Senate measures.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 231, adjourning sine die 2020 third special session of 80th Legislative Assembly. Senate Bill 5731, relating to state financial administration and declaring an emergency. Senate Bill 1801, relating to consumable items and declaring an emergency. Senate Bill 1802, relating to civil claims arising during the COVID-19 emergency period and declaring an emergency. Senate Bill 1803, relating to health care provided during the COVID-19 emergency period and declaring an emergency.
CR 231, SB 5731, SB 1801, and SB 1803 are referred to the Joint Committee on the third special session of 2020. It is now so ordered. Announcements. The Senate will stand in recess until 1 a.m.
1 p.m.
Excuse me, well, it has, yeah. Thank you. Well, yeah, that's correct. That was a grievous error. It's 1 p.m. That's okay, people say, okay. So the Joint Committee will meet, I believe, at 9:30. Is that correct? We're going to meet at 9:30, the Joint Committee. So the Senate will now be in recess.